Joining me for the Alex on Tech and ITY video. We are here in China for Huawei Seeds of the Future program, and I have with me Jenny Nguyen. She is from QUT and studying electrical engineering. Welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. Now, how did you hear about the Huawei Seeds of the Future program? What drew you to want to get involved, and what was the application process like?
So I didn't actually I didn't get an email about the program. I actually heard about it from a friend who had told me about her experience, how she was doing Tai Chi.
And she went to it, right?
Yeah, so she was part of this program
Last
last
year,
year.
right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
She did Tai Chi, she did calligraphy, she got to see Huawei, which I knew as like this massive phone company, and being like a telecoms major, I was like, this sounds really cool, like right up my alley.
Yeah.
And you know, I love traveling, I love food, so kind of seems like a natural fit. And yeah, so that's essentially how I heard about it through a friend.
And what was the application process like?
The application process was we had to write a 300-word paragraph, essay, short response to a question, and it was talking about science and development and innovation in Australia. Yeah, so we had that, and then that got me to the shortlist round, and then I did an interview with the very lovely Lisa Connors from Huawei, which was extremely casual. We were just having a very comfortable conversation.
A bit like we're having right now.
Kind of, oh, exactly, really. Yeah, there was a lot of laughing as well. And yeah, no, Lisa is lovely. And yeah, and then I got the email saying that I got accepted, and I was very excited.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I'm in China.
Yeah, now we've just gone through the graduation process after the 2 weeks. Normally this is where it would finish. But what have some of the highlights been for you on the trip thus far?
Oh, there's been so many. So every activity we've done has been a highlight, essentially. So, you know, we come over to China. First thing we had to do, well, we got to do, was go to see all the cultural sites. Got to go climb the Great Wall of China and go see Tiananmen Square. And Great Wall of China was breathtaking, like quite literally, because you know you're climbing up all these stairs.
Yeah,
and
I've been on it. You've got to walk up this vertical climb just about.
Yeah, you know, it's challenging to your health. It makes you realize, you know, how unfit you are. I think everyone. And in some ways, it like, I'm going to use a bit of a cliche, but like it brought you to your knees, kind of like taking it all in, realizing this is 8,000 kilometers. So many people have built this. They've lived their lives on this. You know, they've guarded this. They've tried to
buried it.
Yeah, it's just
Incredible.
it's just insane the amount of history that was associated with a wall. And I don't know, like walls can be a divisive thing, but in this case, to me, the walls sort of brought me a bit closer to all the history, and I just thought that was an incredibly cool experience. But yeah, so I really enjoyed climbing the Great Wall of China. Getting to see Tiananmen Square was like the same sort of thing, sort of seeing all that history and walking around it and sort of just trying to imagine what was going on. So I really enjoyed that. It was so that was in Beijing, and in Beijing we also went to the cultural school and learnt some Mandarin there. Did a crash course, like very intensive 3-day crash course in Mandarin, and I surprisingly enjoyed it. I didn't pick up too much of it, so please don't ask me to say anything in Mandarin. But yeah, I actually really want to continue learning Mandarin when I get back, just learning to speak it, because like coming here, I'm like, you know, I can see like the value in learning Mandarin, and it wasn't as hard or as difficult as I thought it would be. And having like that 3-day intensive course with this really cool teacher, I think it really sort of got you over the initial starting hump. Yeah. And I think I'm at the stage where I think I can just start slowly build on my, you know, very small Mandarin skills.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now this is the first year that the Seeds for the Future program has been extended by a week, so lucky you, because normally the other students were going home this year. But so what are you going to be doing next week?
So next week we'll be going to tour some factories. The names just slipped me.
That's all right.
My head for the moment. But yeah, so we're getting to see some other sites around Beijing. Sorry, not Beijing, Shenzhen.
Yep.
And yeah, so that'll be really exciting because like a lot of things are made in China, and that's partially what drew me to this trip. I'm like, everything's made in China, but I have no idea what that process looks like. So that's going to be a huge attraction for me, getting to see that.
And what do you think that you've learned over the past couple of weeks that you can apply to your studies when you get back?
Definitely a lot of the telecom stuff we did at Huawei University. I really liked that it sort of gave me an overview of, so I'm a communications, so I do telecoms, but because Huawei is encompassing ICT, which is IT and communications and technology, all of that, getting to see it from that perspective and having that high-level overview was really interesting. And I think I could sort of apply that perspective, like the ICT perspective, to my studies when I get back. And not just sort of focusing on the details, but considering the overall picture of like the Internet of Things and how, you know, that's going to shape our future.
Sure. Now, I always like to finish off with 3 questions. The first one is about the future. Where do you see yourself in a decade's time?
That's a good question, because I think if you asked me that, like, you know, a week ago, a month ago, it would have been like vastly different answer. At this stage, I'm not sure, because coming here, I've realized I wouldn't mind working in China.
Broaden your horizons tremendously.
Yeah, and like thinking about ICT, because there was like just so many avenues that I hadn't even considered. So I can definitely potentially see myself going down the ICT path, which I wouldn't have a week ago.
Because you're studying electrical engineering,
Yeah,
which is a technological field, but it's different.
Yeah, it's a lot more broad, and it was just like, you know, electronics and drones and artificial intelligence. Like, it does encompass it, but I don't know. I am really enjoying the telecoms side and the ICT side. So
Well, now you've got some
potentially
time to think
CEO
about it.
of an ICT.
Yeah, wouldn't that be?
Maybe not in 10 years.
Sure. But you never know, if you have a startup, you'll be the CEO from day one, right? So
That's true.
So now I always like to ask people about the best advice they've received, but normally they are CEOs. But what's the best advice that you've received in life thus far that's helped you to become a better person? Whether from a parent, a teacher, a mentor?
I've received a lot of good advice over the years. I think the best advice I've gotten is to just be self-aware and think about, you know, just
Well, kind of the whole trip has been about becoming more self-aware,
and
right? This trip is exemplifying that
making
advice.
sure, you know, you reflect and you're considering, you know, what's best for yourself and keeping your options flexible. At the same time, don't just be like too focused. Like my manager at work was just like, you know, gotta do what's best for yourself, but keep your options open and be flexible, and don't be afraid to go after something, even if you think, you know, it might not work out.
Well, you'll certainly gain good experience,
Have the
hopefully.
courage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what's your final message to students watching this video and thinking of applying for the program themselves?
I would definitely encourage anyone who's even considering or remotely interested in Huawei in China in the ICT field. And you know, the ICT field is incredibly broad, to consider it. I think the biggest takeaway for me from this trip is that it's really challenged my preconceptions and my preconceived notions of China. We do get a filtered view of China through the media, of Huawei, of the ICT field, and our own experiences. And the best way, I think, to see what's really like is to actually see what it's really like.
See it with your own eyes, yes.
Yeah.
Jenny, thank you very much. Best of luck with your quest to become CEO. Hopefully it happens sooner rather than later. And
We'll see.
Thank you very much again. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see you.
Bye-bye.